Hello, everyone. This is our second unit, the profiles unit, and I'm going to be going through the basic features of a profile essay. Let's start off with what our writing assignment is. We're going to be writing an essay about an intriguing person, a group of people, a place, or an activity on campus. And what I'm going to ask you to do is observe your subject closely and then present what you have learned in a way that both informs and engages readers. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to go on campus and go find one of our student services, one of the activities, a club, a group, a office, financial aid, I don't know, whatever it is that you can find on campus that will serve as a fun profile to write about. And let's take a look at what that entails. First off, a detailed information about the subject. Okay, so this essay needs to include a place where something interesting happens, or at least something that you might find interesting, something that you're curious about, some kind of an activity, a person, a group of people. I'm also going to be looking for detailing. You're going to read in our essays that we have a great deal of a great deal of detailing in terms of appearances and gestures, tones, descriptions of scenes, using all of the senses that our writers give us to kind of put us in that place. And it's also reminiscent of the detailing that we did in remembering an event. Quoting, summarizing, paraphrasing what people tell you and what information they give you will also be a part of this. Okay, so we're going to be looking at descriptive writing in terms of senses, what you hear, what you smell, what you can touch, maybe even what you can taste, those of you who might consider going to the cafeteria. We also have here on the right-hand side a brief descriptive writing brainstorm. Now, you can kind of play with this on your own time, but basically this is just to help you get along your way. And you can kind of use this as a guide as to the kind of things that you might be working with during the course of writing this essay. Something to keep in mind is you're going to be, of course, as I mentioned, paying attention to details. I'm also going to be looking at how well you use your vocabulary, okay, how well you can express the things that you see and you hear and you feel, etc. For that, I would highly suggest a dictionary and a thesaurus. People make the mistake all the time of using words inappropriately or how they think they should be used. My advice is whenever you write, regardless of what it is you're writing, always use a thesaurus and a dictionary. Okay, the next thing is going to be a clear organizational plan. Now, this essay should include a narrative plan that interweaves information with elements of a story. And you should also be using a topical plan that groups information into topics and moves from one topic to another. You have plenty of examples in the essays we've been reading, or that we're going to be reading, and you also have a number of examples of how that works in the videos you'll be seeing online. Now let's take a look at the narrative plan. Narrative is basically just what it sounds like, a story. You're interweaving, I'm going to be using that word quite a bit, interweaving pieces of a story into this essay that you're writing. And over here on the right, you'll take a look here. This is kind of to give you an idea of how you can organize narrative writing, okay? We're also going to be considering topical order, the topical plan. Again, interweaving topics, aspects, things that are important, that are details about how something works or a place works or whatever subject it is that you're working with works. It's what's going to break down this subject for your reader and help them understand exactly, these large chunks of information that you need them to know in order for them to understand what this subject is. Okay, next is going to be a role for the writer. So this is just, we've got two options pretty much here. It's a detached observer. So as you read, the impression is that the writer's looking from the outside into how things are working, okay? Or you can be the participant observer, in which the writer is engaged with the subject and manages to give insight into the subject as an insider. We'll look at some of the videos, and of course, again, in some of the essays, you'll see how this is working. But just to give you an idea, this is a bit of a graph. Now, don't be misled here. You are always at the center of these profile writings, okay? But just depending on how it is you're going to present this subject is how you're going to position yourself, so to speak. So will you be on the periphery watching the subject doing something, or will you be at the center of it actually engaging in this subject in some kind of an activity, okay? A perspective on the subject. All right, so this is really very closely related to what we did in Remembering an Event in terms of autobiographical significance. It's the significance of the essay. It's what the author wants you to know and understand about the subject. And we're going to be talking about dominant impression in a moment, but I just want you to understand that this should be conveying some kind of importance. Why is this this subject, why is this important to you as a writer? And what you're also saying is to the audience, and this is why it should be important to you as well. All right. Dominant impression, as you can see, it's, we hear the term dominant, right? So when you hear dominance, you think of one animal kind of trying to be dominant over another. Well, that's not so much what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is get the impression that you as a writer gained when you were interviewing, when you were profiling, when you were in this place. What do you think about it? Why is it important? Okay. Also very important in drawing out a thesis. Okay. Now, the thing to keep in mind here is we want to be on top throughout this essay. You don't want to go wandering about too much. There should be some kind of order to this. You're going to need a very strong outline in order to get through it. But as long as you manage to keep on topic, whether you're trying to draw us through a narrative or whether you're trying to give us some topic, as long as you have some kind of order to it, you should be fine. There are a few things that this essay is not. And I want to be very clear about this because students sometimes make a mistake. This isn't a field trip report, okay? It's not, I walked into the office and this is what it looked like, and then I walked into the other office and then I sat down and this person gave me, I asked this question and this is what they said. I asked this other question and this is what they said. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for very smooth integration of information, weaving in and out of narrative and topical form. You'll see plenty of examples in the essays. So don't make the mistake that a few people do every semester by just kind of giving me a brick-by-brick account of you walking to the place, walking through the door, sitting down. Don't do that. That's not what I'm looking for here. Nor is this an infomercial, okay? So if this begins to sound like a pamphlet or some of the research that maybe you did prior to going in and interviewing someone, if it starts sounding like an infomercial, in all probability, you just got the information off the internet, or at least this is what I'll be thinking, or your reader will be thinking. You probably just got a lot of this information off the internet or perhaps a pamphlet inside the office. And that's, again, not really what I'm looking for. You shouldn't be trying to sell me of anything, okay? That's very different from dominant impression. Don't get those two confused. Now, I can give you a couple of pieces of really great advice here. Number one, prepare your questions beforehand. Don't try to go in and freestyle it and work off the top of your head. We're going to talk about how to write notes and how to ask questions a little bit later on in class. But for now, understand that you should be ready to go. You should have questions ready to go whenever you're going to interview someone and when you're ready to go into this place. All right. Also, taking good notes is going to be very important. You don't want to have to go back and be ready to sit down and write your essay, and then just try and work off the top of your head. That's not going to be a very effective way of writing this essay. That's not going to be a very effective approach. You want to take very specific notes, and you want to make sure that you have all the information that you need at hand. So take good notes when you interview someone. Also, again, I mentioned this a little earlier, but choose something that's interesting. We're all going to be doing stuff we're all going to be looking at subjects that are on campus. I prefer you not go outside of campus. And in fact, one of the prerequisites for this essay is to find a place on campus. So you'll be looking for some kind of activity on campus to write about. But you should try and make it something that you find kind of interesting and intriguing. Those always turn out to be the best essays. Okay, now, one warning here, I don't expect you to run into all kinds of, sticky situations because you're going to be on campus. But understand, I don't want you to put yourself in any kind of danger if you interview anyone. You shouldn't be hopping any fences or, talking to any shady people or anything around the campus or anything. Don't put yourself in any kind of danger is what I'm saying. In the past, that's happened. People make these kind of strange interviews with people that are around the campus instead of actually campus services. And, you don't want to put yourself in any danger. That's not what this is about. Be safe at all times. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the basic features. Make sure you've got yourself a nice little list of questions for class. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but have whatever you thought of here, and just bring them to class. We'll talk about it a little bit more, and make sure that you do the questions on the TED Ed website. Thank you.